message really for this morning is God is able. You know, when Jesus says yes, who can say no, really? Who? What power do they have? You just have to believe and have faith, you know. Yeah. Okay, so let's do the review now. In the absence of the hardcore newspapers, let's do the online review. We're going to visit myjoyonline.com. We'll touch base with City FM Online. Hopefully we'll get some things from Graphic Online as well. And then we'll do the international news online portals as well. So let's start from home, myjoyonline.com. And scandals that shaped Ghana in 2017. We want to click on that story definitely. And then do a little bit of those scandals that rocked us, you know, got a lot of people talking in 2017. So here we go on myjoyonline.com with this particular story. So as Ghanaians join the world to usher in the new year, myjoyonline.com looks back at the scandals that shaped 2017 in Ghana. Here we go. And then they start by taking us through from January till the end of the year in 2017. So why don't we just go down and check it out. Plagiarize inaugural speech. Yeah, that kind of started the year for us. Let's go down. And then hand come bribery claim against Boakye Ejakon. Remember that when he appeared before the committee in Parliament, the vetting committee, the appointments committee in Parliament, and then that whole situation about he bribing some members of Parliament. You know, that we talked about that for a while. And then the PRC questionable transactions. Kwete Nate definitely did an investigative piece that brought a lot of matters out on that as well. And then in March, well, Delta Force raided Kumasi Circuit Court, something that we had never witnessed before. Still very much one of the chapters that we never ever want to visit. And to think that we didn't properly see justice in the end, that's also something very worrying that we've carried into 2018, if you like. 4 MPs were blacklisted from entering the UK. This was back in April in 2017. And the High Commissioner then to Ghana, a man who was very much outspoken, he still is very much as well. And yeah, all this brouhaha came and went, and yeah. That's it. We're in 2018. And then Otiko Jaba and Daniel Bugrinabu trade on words over bribery claims. Remember that? Was there a goat in the picture as well? Okay. Well, a lot has happened. A lot happened in 2017, including this one. Bought sale of contaminated oil got Ekufuado government busy. And then there was the energy minister who quickly set up a committee, said some bold stuff. But in the end, yeah, the boss is still very much the boss. Okay, in July, Dome Kwabenya MP Adjo Asamo trolled for claiming credit for Mohammed project, the free SHS that's located in Kwabenya. She was kind of taking credit for it, but I think that in the end, we all agreed. Yeah, the Community Day SHS. Hey, did I say free SHS? Okay, so that was back in July. And then the 2 deputy chiefs of staff. That matter would be resolved later in the year. But this was in August when A+ attempted to smear allegations on the 2 deputy chiefs of staff. The Shrash later on would come and say that, well, they haven't really done anything wrong. But also, that was also something that went back and forth. And the CID boss now, there was a leaked tape. There was a tape that she said had been either put together or wasn't really her, or, yeah. We left all those things in 2017. That's very typical of us. Okay, so, fast forward after this situation. Oh, there was also the Deputy Agriculture Minister. Yes, then William Kwaito, who resigned after he was accused of making ethnic comments against people from the north. Well, he agreed, apologized, and then he stepped aside. That's also very memorable. And then this story that I wish had not happened. Maxwell Agbagba would bring us this story about a 4-year-old who had been defiled. Yeah. So she was allegedly raped in the central region. The person who did it, we would get to know later on, was not an adult. So, you know, we couldn't, his pictures were not all over. This matter is still ongoing, still a court situation. But there were a lot of people who went to that particular town, and we're told that, okay, yeah, thank you, Daniel, that's it influenced the gender ministry's policy. Justice for Kids policy. Yeah, okay. And then we saw the gender minister travel to this particular town where this young lady, this 4-year-old. And then, oh yeah, this was a boom and a bomb. Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa, George A.C. Boateng, who said, well, his foremost job as Commissioner to South Africa was to serve MPP people. I mean, and that they were more Ghanaian. There was an apology letter later on, but many people still believe he didn't write that. He only put his signature, a signature that we all remember for like forever. He's still Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa, by the way. Yeah. Oh, and then President Akufo-Addo spoke to Al Jazeera and on homosexuality, and, you know, saying it could be legalized in Ghana. And that if there was a strong voice, strong advocacy, strong push, that was also very controversial. We talked about it like we do all the time as Ghanaians. When things happen hot, we all jump on it. A lot of people talked about it from different places, but it would die down later on in the year. Okay. All right, so that was November. And then Carlos Ahenkra, who is Deputy Trades Minister, accused of extorting money from expatriate and cash for seed scandal. We quite haven't resolved this. Or, okay, we'll see him later in Parliament, you know, on Okudzeto Ablakwa, saying some harsh words, some friendly words to him. He later on would apologize, I think on Peace FM or so. And Ablakwa says, I am taking you to court. So we still don't know if he's going to follow through. We don't know how this is going to end. And then Mavis Hawakumsing, who would forget Mavis Hawakumsing and the budget that she presented to Parliament, the 800,000 Ghana cedis for 3 websites. That's a supervisory ministry, by the way. And we're still wondering, really seriously, did she see the budget before she led it to Parliament, went to sit before the committee, and who saw it at the committee level, and then it went to the entire House later on? That's a conversation that will definitely continue in 2018, or we left it in 2017. So a lot of things happened in 2017. Major talking points in 2017. We'll forever remember 2017. Here's a woman that I have sat and, you know, talked to one-on-one together with other women who lost babies but didn't give up. They continue to hope and have a lot of faith. And she's telling her story. She has a beautiful baby boy now, by the way. Not a baby, he's all grown. So if you have time, In the Womb of Time, Barbara Spain, my best read in 2017. She launched a book on the 28th of December, but you can read this piece if you have time. Why Genghis Khan's tomb can't be found. You might want to read this as well on myjawline.com. Also, ICGC in crossover night of power into the year of power. June 4, 31st, December 31st, fitting for holidays than August 4. Siedun Ketia revives this debate. That's the NDC's General Secretary, and he's bringing this up over President Akufo-Addo's August 4 Founders Day proposal, saying it's pointless. Well, these days used to be holidays, by the way, and then the NPP went to courts, and then, we scrapped that out. The Supreme Court said, no, it's not in the spirit. Is it in the spirit of the Constitution? We can't be celebrating a coup, if you like. And so we took those days out as holidays, public holidays in Ghana. But Johnson Asiedu in Ketia said the June 4 and December 31st revolutions staged by ex-President Jerry John Rawlings deserve to be celebrated as quote national holidays than the president's proposed dates. August 4, 1947 was the day Ghana's first political party, United Gold Coast Convention, was formed at Solpon in the Central Region by stalwarts like Dr. J.B. Dankwa and Pa Grant. President Akufo-Addo has maintained the day kicked into action the country's independence struggle, resulting in the March 6, 1957 Independence Declaration. But at the 36th anniversary celebration of the 31st December Revolution in the Volta region, regional town of Ho on Sunday, the former lawmaker said Mr. Rawlings' revolutions hold more significance to the country than the birth of the UGCC. Let the debates continue. You can read the rest of what Johnson Asiedu and Ketia said in Ho on myjoyonline.com. Let's quickly go back. All right. So President Mohammed was not late to Revolution Day events. We know that Mr. Rawlings decided to give it to him, but he would later on come and say that, well, apparently they gave him a different time. They gave Mr. Mohammed also a different time. But there's a statement that is clarifying the matters now. Shall we just click on the story and see what the statement is saying now? But the headlines have already been done. You know, we want to still go back to what Mr. Rawlings said, irrespective of the fact that there's a statement that's clarifying issues. The fact that Mr. Rawlings said it, that's news, that's big. So the statement was issued 1st January 2018. President Mohammed was not late to Revolution Day events. The local organizing committee of the 30th commemoration of the 31st December Revolution, which came off successfully in Ho yesterday, that will be Sunday, would like to settle the unfortunate issue of the arrival time of His Excellency former President John Dramani Mahama. We wish to state emphatically that the outset that former President Mahama was not late to the Revolution Day event. It should be noted that what transpired leading to the remarks of the founder of the NDC and former President Jerry John Rawlings was an apparent communication lapse. Former President Mohammed's office was informed to arrive at 10 a.m. It should be noted that former President Mohammed duly complied and in fact arrived earlier at 9:50 a.m. So that's 10 minutes ahead of the time that he was given. It must be well acknowledged that former President Rawlings, after having been informed of these facts in a statement, in a statesmanly manner, publicly corrected the impression he had created earlier and apologized to former or to President Mohammed. It is the considered view of the local organizing committee that an otherwise successful and well-patronized Revolution Day event should not be marred by what word is that? By the blip. Okay, so the just observed 36th Revolution Day, contrary to claims by our opponents of an imploding NDC, has clearly showcased to the nation that the entire rank and file of the NDC is united under the umbrella and deeply committed to the principles of probity, accountability, and social justice. We take this opportunity to thank all comrades for your participation, support, and contributions towards a successful event. Happy New Year. And this is signed by Emmanuel Koshi Bajra, who is Member of Parliament and Chairman, the local organizing committee. I tell you what, even though this statement is out, we have read it on our show, but the bit about Mr. Rawlings bashing former President Mahama, it will still hold. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. This is media. Okay, but let's talk about something else. My government will be at supersonic speed in 2018, and this is following from what the president said last year, that he was a man in a hurry when he became president of Ghana. So he says that in 2018, he'll be the government will be at a supersonic speed, but we've been encouraged not to be spectators. So if it's slowing down, if it's not a 3D action, we will definitely prompt Mr. President. Yeah, so just take notes. Seven killed at anti-Kabila protests in Congo. Not good. Security forces in the Democratic Republic of Congo have killed at least 7 people at a protest calling for President Joseph Kabila to step down. And this is according to the UN peacekeepers. And the situation in Congo definitely not good. There has to be elections in Congo to elect a new president. Mr. Kabila's time has definitely expired. So Mohammed named most influential Ghanaian in 2017, and we're going to share the story. It's on myjoyonline.com. It's a poll that was conducted by our websites, and a majority of Ghanaians say former President John Mahama is the most influential Ghanaian in the first edition of the My Joy Online Influence Award 2017. So with 3,010 voters in the poll, 100% determined by the public, the former president came top among several other names. Voters nominated political favorite like President Akufo-Addo, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, Dr. Baumia. Popular pastors also made the list, notably Pastor Mensa Otabil, Bishop Dak Heward-Mills, Archbishop Duncan Williams, journalist Manasseh Azure Awene, and hit singer Shatta Wale were also the choices of other voters. Voters also chose Lands and Natural Resources Minister John Peter Amewu as the most impressive minister in a category, which also saw Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta get some mentions. Names like Hawa Kumsin, who is Minister for Special Development Initiatives, Education Minister Matthew Opoku Prempe, aka Napo, Sanitation Minister Kofi Adda, National Security Minister Ken or Albert Kandapa were all popular on the list of ministers voters want to see sacked. Well, I can tell you one thing. Napo is not going anywhere. Kandapa is not going anywhere either. I'm not sure about how it comes in, but something tells me she's not going anywhere either. Yeah. So you better get used to them being there. And as for Mr. Kofi Adda, he isn't going anywhere either. Yeah. That's my prediction. All right. Oh, some people are fasting and praying against Hawa Kumsin, by the way. But something tells me she isn't going anywhere in 2018. She's still going to remain there. We'll probably see another budget. Not sure. Maybe one website, perhaps. Divide the money into 3, and that will be one website. You can go on and see what others voted, you know, what the exact categories were and who came tops in those categories. It's all on myjoyonline.com. It's very interesting. I hope the presidency would look at this and see what some Ghanaians are hoping for. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for myjoyonline.com. Lots of stories on myjoyonline.com, by the way, but let's do City FM Online. Government to allocate 1% of GDP to Special Research Fund. Also on the page, police to help enforce TV license payment according to the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, the GBC. I know that, you know, it's a law. So until we change the law, at least that's what Samson Ladi Ayenini is saying. We can't fight this. But can you imagine like all of us Ghanaians saying that we will not pay this TV license? That's voice enough. That's Ghanaians saying they won't pay the TV license. Where will they put all of us? Like in some, there's Secondary prison. There's one in Ho. Yeah. Would we all fit there, knowing that the prisons are already choked? I don't know, but we need to... Is it too late to have a conversation again on this TV license thing? We'll talk about it here on the show, but if you're not paying, please raise your hand. Would you pay or not pay? Target your corrupt officials too. Mohammed tells Nanado. Special prosecutor will be a lame duck if, and you can continue to check out what the General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Esedi Nketia, aka General Mosquito, is saying about this special prosecutor's office that's been created. Reverse Ghana's decision on Jerusalem. Group to governments, Ghana's decision to vote against making Jerusalem the capital of Israel is an error. There's a group that organized a press conference yesterday here in Accra trying to make the position known, saying that we made a mistake, and they're already praying because they say that decision may have consequences on the country. So hopefully their prayers will be able to reverse that. Expect major development in 2018, according to Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo. There are a lot more stories on City FM Online that you can check out as well. Let's do graphic online. And this story, CJ, that's the Chief Justice, asks Media Coalition to go to court over mild fines. Story by Isaac Yeboah says the Media Coalition against Galamsey has been directed by the Chief Justice to use the judicial process to seek redress in its protestations of mild fines imposed by the courts on offenders. Do we go back to the courts, or the fines are things that are in the books, so that even if I think we have to look at it, has to be a conversation that we should have. What is in the books? Are they going back by exactly what is contained in the book? Or as judges, they can go beyond that. They can say that, okay, this is what you've done, so I'm giving you so and so years, which is punitive enough. Is it a matter of the judges making that call, or is it a matter of what has been prescribed in the books? So no matter what they do, we will still see those fines as not being punitive enough. But that's a conversation that we seriously must sit and have. General Mosquito asked President Akufo-Addo to sign special prosecutor bill. The General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Esiedu-Ketia, says he's at a loss why President Akufo-Addo has not yet signed the special prosecutor bill into law, but we know that Parliament duly passed that. Judge cautions Ghanaian journalist over civil libel. A High Court judge in Wa, Mr. Kwesi Boakye, has cautioned journalists to be wary of the legal consequences of defamation of the character of public officials in order not to fall foul of the law. President Mohammed was not late to Revolution Day event, and I've said it, you can scream it, but you know, people are still dwelling on what Mr. Rowland said, even though he later on, you know, corrected himself, if you like. But once he said it, once it came out of his mouth, yeah. Okay, so more stories on Graphic Online that you can take a look at as well. Before we bring you sport, let's do the BBC. On the BBC, here's a very trending story. Hollywood women launch abuse campaign. Now, there are more than 300 actresses, writers, and directors. They're backing a project to fight sexual harassment at work. And this is coming out of that big one, you know, from a man who had seen a lot of actors pass through his hands, a very powerful man in Hollywood. And they say that, okay, this is not for like the glamorous workers, if you like, because before that, the Me Too campaign, you know, saw people sharing their stories as to how, you know, people, before they give you work, kind of demand all sorts of things. People were sharing all experiences, and this was across the world, really. So this issue has snowballed into massive conversation around the world. Now, what this coalition is doing is also to support those who are not necessarily like an acting job or something like that, but they also want to speak for the very ordinary people, maybe cleaners, people who are doing menial jobs, laborers, people who are also abused in that manner. So this is one, and there's very powerful Hollywood people behind this. And people say that they're putting their monies where their mouths are, if you like. So there's a lot of money also going into these projects. And that's it. They say they will not end it now. It's something that's going to continue. And we hope really that this will bring massive change to the entire world. In Ghana, we haven't talked much about it because those who have the voice are not, they have the voice, but they won't speak. Maybe we'll get to that point someday, but we haven't gotten there yet. So even though this is a massive conversation elsewhere in the world, we're having it in Ghana. Like, we're only telling what others are doing. We're not telling our own stories, as if to say that we don't have any of these stories to share. But maybe with time, we will get there. Trump blasts Pakistan in first 2018 tweets. German MP under fire for anti-Muslim tweets. We're told Facebook has taken down the tweets. No, I mean what she posted on Facebook. And then Twitter also said they were anti something. So you probably not find the tweets, but you would see the following. The bashing that she's received following that. 9 killed in Brazil prison riots. More than 100 inmates escaped after armed members of rival gangs clashed and set mattresses on fire. There's 2017 safest year for air travel. A fatal accident occurred once in every 16 million flights, according to an aviation consultancy. Hundreds escaped Boko Haram captivity. This is also one of the trending matters in Africa, in Nigeria, and we're told that the Nigerian military are doing their investigation. So they have these people who apparently escaped. They're doing all the investigations to see if they are not either Boko Haram people who have come and want to mingle and say that they were in captive and they had been captured and they've been released, something like that. Okay, yeah, thank you. So this is the full story. The Nigerian army says more than 700 people held by Boko Haram militants in the northeast of the country have escaped captivity. An army spokesperson said they had fled several islands in Lake Chad and arrived in the town of Mongono in Borno State. There's been no independent verification of the army's claim. A BBC correspondent says the escapees are likely to have happened over the escapes are likely to have happened over a period of time, not in one go. The military says a recent armed forces operation, Deep Punch 2, has weakened Boko Haram. In his New Year address, President Mohammed Buhari said the group had been beaten. But this also became a subject of conversation because we know that Nigeria has set aside a huge amount of money to fight Boko Haram. So people were saying, if you say you've defeated them, why would you dedicate this huge sum? Can't remember exactly the figure, but it's quite huge, to the fight against Boko Haram. So we'll see in the coming days if this is really real or yeah. But we know that elsewhere in Nigeria, some people fired on people who are getting out of a church, and we know that some people have died. This is also one of the things that are is still coming out, so we'll have a lot more details. But it's not linked to Boko Haram, at least the information that is out. So it's apparently gangs who are targeting each other or something of the sort. But we'll have a lot more news coming out of Nigeria on that. For now, though, if you're interested in any of the stories, you can always go to the website and then, you know, check the stories out. We've got sports, and Benedict Akwesi Dankwa is back on the show. And what a day to come back when Manchester United, I said that the club is on sale, like we're selling Manchester United in Koyekra. But just when Benedict decided to come back, like he supports Manchester United, no he doesn't, but they would win 2-0, yeah, against Everton. So we'll see how that goes. But Benedict is coming up with a lot more holiday football updates elsewhere and other sporting news elsewhere around the continent as well. Stay with us. It's the 2nd of January. This is the AM show. After Benedict will settle down and do a health check here on the show.